11 minutes to 7, and we ask this question: what impact is the P&O Ferry sacking of 800 staff going to have on supply chains? Will it lead, as some have speculated, to reduced supplies in supermarkets? The services, of course, are suspended at the moment. We don't really know when they're going to restart, indeed if they're going to restart. Shane Brennan is on the line. He's Chief Executive of the Cold Chain Federation. They represent businesses that move chilled and frozen food. Mr. Brennan, good morning.
Good morning.
What's the situation at the moment?
The situation at the moment is calm. We experienced some minor delays at the end of last week, sort of 2 to 5 hour delays, but actually we're quite used to those sorts of disruptions on ferry routes. Often they're disrupted for a few days because of weather. I guess our concern would be if those days become weeks. At that point, business would have to make some decisions about how they put in contingencies and reroute some of their supplies.
Presumably the possibility of rerouting, at least on some routes, is quite high. I mean, I'm thinking Dover-Calais, where you obviously got the tunnel, and you've got other ferries as well.
Yeah, exactly. Dover is a pretty resilient route. I guess I'd have more concern about some of the resilience on the Irish Sea routes, particularly out of Scotland and Northern Ireland, where there are less options, and then businesses have to think carefully on those routes. But again, there are resiliences built in.
So if you what's the problem between Britain and Northern Ireland then? Would it be possible to reroute through Dublin? How would that work?
Well, that's one of the problems we have, is that often what you try and do is find a different route across. But in the case of moving between the UK mainland and the island of Ireland, the route you can't switch from Northern Ireland to Dublin just like that, because there are different paperwork requirements, because one's going into the UK and one's going into the EU, and that is a less resilient route than it was because of the Brexit change.
Right. So because of Brexit, then you can't just take stuff to Dublin and move it up into Northern Ireland.
Not overnight, not at a stroke. Obviously, you have to rethink that and rethink the paperwork, and so it's not a choice you can make in flight like you would previously. So businesses can do that, but they tend to rely on sending stuff, particularly supermarkets rely on being able to send stuff from the UK mainland into Northern Ireland via the Northern Irish ports, which is very P&O reliant.
What does it do in the wider sense? And we've already got problems, haven't we, getting goods to and from the European Union. Does it? I mean, could it make organisations in Europe less likely, less willing to be bothered to trade with us?
I think particularly the haulage companies, we've had 3 years of bad press for our supply routes into the UK, whether it's the COVID restrictions, whether it's the no-deal brinkmanship. There are businesses that think it's almost too much hassle to do the UK, too uncertain. So that does have a long-term erosion on the choices we have for capacity, and this is just another blow to that. But businesses have to just work with that and try and do all they can to keep it working, and that's what supply chain businesses are able to do. We are pretty resilient at dealing with these sorts of problems.
Yeah, and just to make it plain, you are saying at the moment there is no shortage, there's no imminent shortages that are going to be created by what P&O have done?
We absolutely don't expect that, no. Supply chain businesses are used to these sorts of disruptions. We will find routes and reroutes around in the short term. The problem will come if there is a number of weeks where this starts to be a problem. At that point, business will have to make contingency plans and rethink some supplies.
Okay, Shane Brennan, Chief Executive of the Cold Chain Federation. Thank you very much.
It is coming.